Well, welcome everybody to the Jam on this Monday evening. If you'll notice, I am joined with Brandon Pope and Mr. John Hanson, who is out there braving the cold and snowy elements, and we're about to get a decent snowfall across the city of Chicago. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, snow day.
Welcome, everybody. I'm in the Lakeview neighborhood, guys, right now. And so far, not too bad. We just started the snowfall about 20 to 30 minutes ago. It's making its way from southwest through the area, and it'll continue to do so over the next few hours. So let's take a look at where we are right now. Not too heavy snowfall yet, but we're starting to see some of those heavier bands in the north suburbs and the west suburbs as well as it continues to make its way east. Where's it going to go and how long is it going to be here? Well, pretty much for the next 12 to 24 hours, we're going to be seeing some snowfall. The heaviest of it from about 7 p.m. through the 3 o'clock in the morning hours, and then it'll continue as a lake effect snow event through tomorrow. Totals anywhere from 4 to 8 inches, some localized area, maybe a little bit more. Kind of depends where you are. This model showing us anywhere in those 5 to 6 inches. But really, guys, this is our biggest snowfall in 2 years, and I still don't have any use for the shovel yet. So I will get on that as we go about the show here today.
I'm wondering, do I cancel my gym for tomorrow morning? Because you don't want the roads might be icy, right? Maybe I should do that.
Maybe.
Right?
May not be a bad idea.
It's a good excuse, I think.
It's a great excuse, actually. I'd say when we have snow, use all the excuses you can, right? I think it's the perfect.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thanks, John Hanson. And hey, folks, keep an eye on your school websites because a number of schools are already being canceled for tomorrow morning, including my kids. So that's another whole day ahead. All right, into the news. No service member can be forced out of the military for their gender identity. President Joe Biden signed an order today reversing a move former President Trump made in his first year of office. They're also going to revisit a bunch of dismissals that happened after this to make sure that they were not based on gender identity. So a big move by President Biden, one that he said was going to happen within his first week of office.
And sure enough, it did. And this is something that people can celebrate. This is action that's been taken. And it was weird when Trump reversed this, right? When he actually put this ban in place. He claimed that it was to save money because there was a tremendous amount of money spent on health care for trans service members. But trans health care makes up less than 0.02% of the military's $50 billion annual budget. So that argument didn't really hold to begin with. So I'm happy to see that 0.02%, Biden's like, yeah, of course we're going to pay that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brandon, dropping those stats there for us. We appreciate it. But look, the military often lags behind in social justice issues. You look at when they finally decided to integrate the military, black and white soldiers serving together, was after World War II. Which won't come as any galloping shock to what the history of the country is. But oftentimes we will say these sorts of things will disrupt the unit. They said the same thing when they repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. This will disrupt the unit. Well, guess what? It does, but in a good way. The unit figures it out. The unit moves on, much like our country does. It was abysmal, I felt like, that President Trump reverses for some silly attack. I felt like it was just meat to his right-wing fans. But it really impacted a lot of lives. These aren't people that are just willing to serve their country. These are people trying to make a career of it and to strip them of what they had worked to get towards, and then to lose that for a while was just damning. I'm glad that President Biden has stepped up on this one.
And it was a thing that he did in the very, very beginning. He did it via tweet. It was one of the first things he did via tweet, and we were very frustrated when we saw that too.
100%. I mean, it's mind-boggling to fathom that there are people excluded from serving in this country, right? Like, you think you'd want to encourage more people to actually, take that oath and defend our country and volunteer to try to bar people from doing that just feels un-American, honestly. It just feels anti to what we're about. So this is definitely a move that
honestly, Brandon, I didn't ever want to serve. When I turned 18, I went to college. I included to live my life of privilege. These are people that are dedicating their lives to the country, and ultimately, a lot of them, the ultimate sacrifice too. And for anyone that wants to step up to the plate and do that should be welcomed with open arms.
100%. All right, well, the articles of impeachment are now in the hands of the Senate, and we now know who's going to preside over that trial. It's Democratic Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont, not Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. That's because senators preside when the person facing trial is not the current U.S. president. However, it's raised some questions about whether he's going to be eligible to vote on impeachment or not. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice Inspector General has also launched an investigation to see whether any former or current officials from Trump's White House tried to overturn the election. This was all prompted by a weekend New York Times report that detailed a plot to boot acting AG Jeffrey Rosen and try to force Georgia officials to overturn their election results. We also, have a recording of a phone call where Donald Trump is literally on the phone with Georgia's Secretary of State trying to bully him into finding votes. I forgot the number of votes, but just find the votes, right? So
find the votes.
It's kind of lined
find
up.
the votes. Yeah, and there's always there's all these little pieces. Like the breadcrumbs are all there. They lead to something. However, it's not actually become of anything. And at this point, regardless of how you feel, I'm like, stop. Let's give it up. Let's lay it down. There's the new president in office. Let's move forward and unify the country, because I feel like all of this now, as much as I would like to see something happen, is just tearing us apart, and we should move forward.
I agree with you, Amy. I'm really sick of it, to be perfectly honest. And I think people will be sick of it when they start this impeachment trial next February. Look, I think that President Trump did impeachable things. I think a lot of people would agree. And in fact, the House of Representatives in a bipartisan effort did that. But when you're looking at now going to be, 2-3 weeks out of office, President Biden's trying to get his nominees across. Does America really have the stomach for it? And if they're just going to rush it on through because America doesn't, then what's the point in having it in the first place? I don't know. I'm one of those people that just feels like, let's just move on and leave that chapter behind us.
That's interesting. Right? So you both think that it's counterproductive to have this impeachment trial while Trump's out of office.
Do you not, Brandon?
Interesting. Well, I'm mixed on it. I feel like something needs to be done, right? He could run again, right? So I think the reason why there's this rush to try to do it is try to limit the ability he would have to have a political future, and maybe get back in office one day. But it does feel weird because he's not in office, right? We could just move on. You feel like we could, and maybe he'll just disappear into the distance. I'm kind of on the fence with it.
Except we've heard a lot about this. Well, I've been looking into a lot about this Patriot Party that Trump plans on, making
MAGA
up,
party.
or MAGA party, right? Exactly, and that is scary. But at this point in time, in this day, in this moment, I feel like for the best of the country, because listen, I have friends who are Republicans too who actually supported Trump. I want to continue relationships with these people. We need to move on and heal as a nation. That's not going to happen if we sit there and dwell on the past.
Yeah. And you're not wrong, Brandon. Like, I also agree with the idea that accountability is super important and it needs to happen. But full stop, it's not going to happen. He's not going to be convicted. You're not getting 17 Republicans to go along with it. So if it's just going to be for show, for people to take these moral votes that leads to nothing but people being upset by it, is that worth the quote-unquote accountability when you can have state courts work on these sorts of things? He didn't issue a pardon to himself. The Department of Justice, as we mentioned, are looking into this. So I think that's where you're going to get accountability. It's not coming from the U.S. Senate anyway, so why put the country through it?
And it seems like President Biden is with y'all, because President Biden doesn't seem too invested in doing impeachment right now. He's focused on the country, coronavirus, the economy, which he should be.
Out of sight, out of mind, right? All right. So the final members of the first family moved into the White House today after 4 years of no dogs in the Oval Office. German Shepherds, Champ and Major, are likely making themselves right at home. I've heard in front of the fireplace. The dogs of the United States, or first dogs as they're known, are also historic. Major was adopted by the Bidens back in 2018, and he's the first shelter dog to live in the White House. Champ has been with the family for 10 years. Pretty cool. So shelter dog versus rescue dog, because there have been rescue dogs, but it's a little bit of a different thing. So very cool. Good to see them.
You know how they say that dog owners tend to resemble their dogs a little bit? Yeah. You can kind of see that with this one. Just kind of in the structure.
Like
it fits. It kind of
You're just saying that because one of the dogs is old, Brandon. That's the joke you're trying to make there.
That's part of it. That's definitely part of it.
He's getting a cat, too, which will really please our producer, Alicia.
That's what she wants to do. Yeah. Not yet, though.
I hear cats are less work, but they're not as fun. John Hanson?
Is this where I talk about snow? Sorry, guys. I don't have the rundown.
We'd love for you to talk about
There's somebody running
snow.
behind you that looks like they don't mind.
Oh, yeah, no, bye. Okay, good run. Yeah, it's really slick out here, actually, of course, as we've gone from a little bit of freezing rain now to mostly snowfall. In fact, if you're south of Interstate 80, you're going to only maybe see half an inch, maybe less. But these winds, you can see them gusting now up to 30 to 35 miles an hour, and they're going to turn from north to northeast, which is also going to make this snow event last a little bit longer than we anticipated earlier in the week or through the weekend, because we'll have some lake effect snow as well. All right, so right now you can see heavy bands throughout the area as we go through the evening. The heaviest stuff will be from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. So you're going to wake up tomorrow to about 4 or 5 inches of snow. So if you're parked on the street, you're going to need to shovel for sure. Maybe I'll wipe off some cars here, just get the dusting off, help with the first layer in just a little bit. Again, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snowfall, especially anywhere closer to the lakefront. East of 355 is where you're going to see most of this stuff. Really quickly, I do want to say that if we can throw up the 7-day forecast quickly, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but not only will we get through this and keep the snow through the week with temperatures in the low to mid 30s, but we got another snow event coming on the weekend. I guess it's the price we pay for not having a lot of snow so far this season, which could bring some more snow as well. Plenty more coming up on the Jam. We'll be back right after this.
Yep. News you need to know, some new details in the case of Reverend Michael Flager. A second accuser has come forward detailing alleged sexual abuse at the hands of the Southside priest and activist. The second alleged victim is the initial accuser's brother. Both are in their early 60s and say the abuse happened 40 years ago before Flager came to St. Sabina Church in 1981. It's interesting to know here in the Tribune story that kind of detailed this. They brought out that St. Sabina Church leaders and Flager himself, they say they found out about these allegations from a letter sent by the brothers to the church demanding $20,000 for their silence. Flager denies the allegations and is calling this a shakedown. But it's quite a story because Flager is so prominent here in this community, and you don't want to hear stuff like this.
No, I mean, the whole thing just is so icky from every standpoint. Listen, I have known Father Flager for many years. I've interviewed him a bajillion times. He's a wonderful person to me. That does not take away from the allegations that come from these victims, because I hate to disregard the victims because I don't know them and they don't live here anymore. Their family does. But as Brandon mentioned, that first letter that went to the Tribune was asking for money, and that made me feel kind of, away about something. But again, these are allegations, and I never want to take sides in something like this. Hate it.
Yeah,
Hate
it's
it.
hard. It's really hard. I think Icky's story is the way to put it best, David, because there's so many different ways to look at it. And then you hear about, one of the accusers wanting $20,000. And I believe that was a request made before going to the police. I know a lot of people will look at that story in a different light after hearing those accusations put that way. But at the same time, we've evolved a lot, I think, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, about who we believe in sexual assault cases and putting the onus on, we want to believe, obviously, all accusers first. But that doesn't jive with what a lot of people say and have said about Father Michael Flager, not only for his past 40 years at St. Sabina, but continue to say today. But just because one person hasn't had one experience doesn't mean another person hasn't. It's just such a tough story.
Because we should mention this is the first time in his career that he's ever been accused of something like this by these two brothers 60 years ago. So that in itself and everything else that he's done in his career makes it hard to swallow. Again, I don't want to take away from the victims. I hate this.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough because I know Father Flager too, and he's been nothing but nice, and you see his passion and his zeal and the good work he does at St. Sabina. But I think if there's anything I've learned over time, he's had a long career, right? And there can be spots in that career that may have not been so bright, if these allegations are true. And so those victims, they need to be heard.
Yes.
Their story needs to be heard for sure. But yeah, the $20,000, that feels off. So
yeah.
I'm interested to see how this progresses.
Yeah, I think everyone is.
Let's get into some other news you need to know tonight. Moderna is working on a booster shot to go with its current COVID vaccine to help with new variants. The vaccine's still in the works on the British and South African strains we've heard a lot about that can be more contagious. The company says it's developing a new vaccine as a precaution. Remember, healthcare providers have said that the current vaccine should also protect you from these new variants. Minnesota is confirming the first U.S. case of the highly transmissible variant that's been spreading across Brazil. President Trump's former press secretary is now running for office in Arkansas. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she is running for governor there, an office her father, of course, previously held. Huckabee Sanders is already being noted as an early favorite among the candidates. Also, the Biden administration is looking to speed up the release of $20 bills featuring abolitionist, can't say that word very easily, Harriet Tubman. She'd, of course, replace Andrew Jackson. The Trump administration delayed the move, blaming technical issues, design, anti-counterfeiting, and printing. Production of the bill was expected to start in 2026, but Harriet Tubman has long been pronounced as someone who would replace Andrew Jackson on the bill.
I cannot wait for the rap songs that are going to be talking about throwing Tubmans in the club. We throwing Tubmans, okay?
Tubs in the clubs.
Tubs in the clubs.
Tubs in the clubs.
It's funny that Brandon pretends like he's going to be throwing Tubmans. I think he'll be sticking with his Washingtons and his Eisenhower dimes that Brandon normally brings to the club.
More like
that'll be funny
Abe
when
Lincoln.
You eventually have Tubmans.
I'll be flipping
Brandon.
some Abe Lincoln coins.
Have you guys been seeing on social media like videos and photos of snow happening in LA and Las Vegas?
Yeah.
It's crazy
Really?
that they're having some winter storms rolling through their area. We had one video coming to us from James Keene in Pasadena. He said maybe this was hail, and you can see that it certainly looks like heavy snow. I think it's
So
grapple,
funny.
which is usually wet, clumped together precipitation in a little bit warmer climates. But grapple and reports of snow in some of the areas near Los Angeles as well. All right, our forecast is about 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. I'm actually going to dust off a car while we do this here. 4 to 8 inches of snow are possible. I do not know this person. This is not my own car, but I'm getting off to a really good start here in the morning. I'll do the front too. I hope this doesn't set off a car alarm. But 4 to 8 inches of snow are possible as we move throughout the evening and overnight hours as well. Heaviest snow will be through the overnight hours, but then some lake effect stuff into tomorrow. And you know what, guys? I know it's our first one of the season. I'm going to claim a dib spot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start putting out some furniture throughout the night. I know we're light on snow now, and I'm not really in favor of dibs. But I'm going to go ahead and get a spot ready for us anyways, guys. All right, plenty more forecasts and more coming up on the channel.
I don't think you're shoveling much there.
Yeah, and he says,
Well, I
he
know,
says
but I mean, I
for
want
us.
to keep it clean for now and then more as we go throughout the evening. I do that all night.
All night. John Hanson's out there all night.
We'll be right back.
I think we just got to get people's roof, get a mic and amp. That's all we need. We cut it up. That's the special.
Well, the changes the world has seen in the last year are no laughing matter, but one man whose job is to tell jokes decided it was his turn to turn the tables to get to the punchline. I'm here with Sam Morril. He's a comedian who took matters into his own hands in his new special, On the Roof. So Sam, talk to me for a minute, bro. What stemmed this decision for you to kind of like jump in, take the risk, and completely do a self-funded comedy project?
Well, you know, I think as entertainers, we kind of have to take things out of into our own hands these days.
Very careful, please. You're like on that side.
But you know, you're bummed you can't perform, and you want to do something, and you feel the hunger in people that they want to go out. Like you could stay and watch Netflix, but people want to go out and be a part of something and see live entertainment. It'll never die.
You do this with rooftops. How did you get this together?
Well, I would just go on Instagram and people would hit me up and they would write like, I have a roof. And that's kind of how it started. I saw that people were booking me on roofs and weird shows. So I was like, what if I just did it myself? Like, well, why am I using this middleman? Some of these other shows weren't as COVID safe or weren't as well run. And I also kind of thought, if I'm going to risk getting this disease, why not make it my own show? Why I don't want to do I want to go to Bushwick to some roof to do 10 minutes of material. I want to do my own roof, and I can do an hour.
It's interesting. It's filmed like a documentary. The editing, very much docu-comedy like. What was the thought process behind putting it out like that?
Well, I mean, I think without an explanation, especially in like a couple years when specials are indoors again, or even less than that, obviously, but you need an explanation because it is more than just a special. It was kind of an experience going to a different roof every night, and some of them were terrible and something would go wrong every night. So we had to document that, and that was important to me. And also just to show the energy of the city was important to me. Like there's one part in this special where someone tells me she hates me. She's just like, you're not funny and you should quit. And I was like, 10 steps later, this other woman's like, oh, I love your comedy. And I was like, that's New York.
Hey, yeah. I know 2019 seems like a long time ago, but people may recognize you from the film Joker, which was a great movie. You had a part to play in that. There was a big scene in there.
I think most women look at sex like buying a car.
Amazing. You know, just a brief cameo, but I got to play myself, basically, or a version of myself in the DC universe, because I guess it takes place in the 80s. But yeah, so, I mean, so much fun. Todd Phillips is just such a cool guy and obviously so talented. And then, you know, Joaquin Phoenix, a lot of people have pointed out that his origin story as the Joker is bombing after me on stage. He couldn't follow me on stage, and that drove him insane. So
Yeah.
that's the story I like to tell.
You definitely are a funny guy. Sam Morril, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Check out his social media pages on your screen now and catch his new special On the Roof, streaming free now on his YouTube page.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, everybody. Indoor dining has returned to Chicagoland, but does that mean you're comfortable eating in a restaurant these days? I don't know. I'm a little uneasy about it, to be honest. But we've got this poll up on our Instagram stories now, and we want to know what you think. So head to our Instagram at The Jam TV Show. Give us a vote, and once you vote, you can see the results, and then you'll know what everyone else is thinking. And while you're at it, follow us on everything else. We're at The Jam TV Show. We'll be right back after this.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. A snowy evening across Chicagoland. We got a winter storm warming in effect until tomorrow evening. We could see anywhere of, I hate to say it, between 4 and 9 inches of snow, depending on where you live. Of course, south of 88, that's likely where we're going to see the most of it. But you can see those snow totals growing as you get closer to the lakefront. Some lakefront snow happening this evening. The most of it's going to happen from now until about 3 a.m., and that's where we'll see the bulk of the heavy snowfall. But be aware of those closures out there, because I know a lot of schools are already closing preemptively. Expect that to happen in daycares and businesses as well.
Okay.
KG,
And
you will be
I don't have any
last.
of the. Okay.
Just you'll be last. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Jam, everybody. It is 6:30 on a snowy Monday evening. We're looking at up to possibly 9 inches of snow. Yee! Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Amy Rutledge, alongside Mr. Brandon Pope and Miss Krista Green. John Hanson's out in the field. We're going to talk to him in a little bit.
Yeah, I
Hey,
love
did you say you
snow.
love it?
I don't know about y'all. I do. I love it. I'm so hype. But also, I don't have to drive in it. So, that plays a factor.
Well, that's it. I was like, you know what? We've been stuck inside. I'm happy to now go outside and have something to do, because the last couple snows we got were like, wah, 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 and we did a little, but we couldn't do a lot. And now we need a refresher, right?
Yeah, totally. Plus, it's a
You-
great
you guys
excuse to not have to
clearly-
go to Orange Theory,
You guys clearly don't park outside. You clearly have never had to clean off your car, get in a cold car.
Oh, Krista Green.
It's the
Not never,
worst.
just not now.
Not now.
There were
Right.
decades.
That's why I'm over here like, ugh. But,
It's okay. It builds character, Krista. It builds character. All right. So Mayor Lori Lightfoot is pushing to get more COVID vaccines to Black and brown Chicagoans. So far, more than 50% of the vaccinations that have gone out there have gone to white residents. Roughly 15% each to Black and brown. With this next round of vaccines, the mayor wants to focus on 15 South and West Side communities hardest hit by COVID cases. They're going to have this campaign going door to door. They're going to get people out, kind of like they would for the vote, but they're going to get them out to get the vaccine, because she understands there is a history of distrust around vaccines, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the major hurdle that, this mayor is going to face, and really the country's going to face in trying to get the vaccine to Black and brown people. There's already reports, and I can speak to what my mom went through, with some people having negative effects from getting the Moderna vaccine. So that doesn't help. People ease their fears when they hear things like that. So it's going to take a massive messaging effort to let people know this is crucial, right? If you want to really stop the spread, we got to get those shots.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have a mayor that's recognizing these trends and doing everything she can ahead of the curve, ahead of before it's too late kind of thing. And, she's making these actions and putting them into effect now. That's what we need.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Brandon, I want to piggyback on what you said about your mom too, because there are people who are having some effects. Even my doctor said, her arm hurt a lot and she was kind of run down the next day, but it's a momentary thing for a lot of protection. So it shouldn't scare people away from getting the vaccine, according to the science. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what the science says.
Exactly. And there's lots of great social media jokes about, if you have like the bar of soap that's down to like the insy bitsy little tiny thing, you don't have to worry about what's in the vaccine, right? Like, chill out. You can handle this.
Right.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, hey, Super Bowl Sunday is set. We got our two teams, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, but it's going to look a little bit different this year. I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking about the commercials during the game that so many of us love. You're not going to be seeing ads from Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Hyundai. You're also not going to see any for Budweiser. That means no cute Clydesdale horse commercials or puppies popping up. Instead, the company is going to donate some of its advertising airtime and dollars toward COVID awareness efforts and organizations. For context, the cost of a Super Bowl ad this year on CBS, $5.5 million for just 30 seconds on TV. So lots of companies feeling like they got to tighten their budgets, right, because of COVID-19, the pandemic. Not doing a Super Bowl ad, that's pretty big. Because Budweiser, I think it's been 4 decades that they've been having those Clydesdales on TV. It's gonna be they're gonna be missed.
You got to think about the tone of the country, right? Because not only are they losing money, because everybody is right now, or I shouldn't say everybody, most companies are losing money in the pandemic. How stupid does it look to like put stuff out there when you could be saving that money and then promoting the fact that you helped save your own community? I mean, the fact that they're doing this, I think, is brilliant, and I'm very thankful for it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love this. Will I miss a puppy ad? Sure. But would I much rather see the money being put forth to the healthcare workers? Absolutely. Anything to help us in these times.
And look,
Yeah.
if it's with Pepsi, this is a no-brainer because they already have the Pepsi halftime, right? So they
Right.
got their
They're
branding and
all over the place.
promotion taken care of.
Yeah.
These companies aren't going to starve from not having a Super Bowl ad, right? Because I don't think that the Budweiser Super Bowl ad really is going to impact whether I ever drink Budweiser again, right?
Right.
Totally.
Because when I'm watching the game, do I need my beer? Probably. I don't drink beer, but the people who do probably need the beer anyway. So it really doesn't make a difference. It's more just entertainment value at that point. And so time to move on from that in this instance. So
And Bud Light is still going to have an ad. They're still going to do it. So don't worry about that.
yes, so still part of that company going to be out there. All right, guys. She loves fashion, music, and the occasional mimosa, because really, who doesn't, right? And can probably teach us all a thing or two about life. Today is Miss Anita Harris's 102nd birthday. An amazingly positive Southside resident who lives alone, goes to virtual church each week. She cooks. She keeps her coiffed blonde hair looking on point every day. I got the chance to ask her not only her secret to a fulfilling longevity, but also what keeps her happy every day.
Well, I have a person I call on TV. I call him my boyfriend. That's Harvey, Family Feud. It's a lot of fun. And then I like the game shows.
You're a big Jeopardy fan. Any suggestions on who should take over Jeopardy?
I can't remember his name now. It slipped my. But the one that was with him and won all the shows.
Yeah, like Jennings. That was his last name, Jennings.
Jennings, yes, that's it. Like I tell everyone that I don't know the answer to that. It's up there.
She does not look
answer. And I asked
102.
her. No, and I asked her, I'm like, what's your answer to longevity? She said, I have no idea. It's up there. I thought that was cute.
She is
That's what people
awesome.
need to know.
Yeah, right?
And I'm rooting for the Steve Harvey thing. I need Steve Harvey to send her a message or something because that's her
That
little
would
boo.
be amazing. Super cute. Yeah, I agree.
I love it.
I wonder if she's
Krista,
drinking
what's
vodka
next?
and eating hot dogs, because that's what Betty White does. So that's my
Betty White
plan
did, yep.
in the future. All right, one of the most popular book series in history is heading to TV, or is it? We'll see. And Ryan Reynolds, he's opening up about one of his more challenging roles of his career. That's all coming up in Trending. We'll be right back.
Hey, but first, let's check in with John Hanson to see how the snow is going, if you got our spot.
Yeah, I got the spot here. I'm good. This is cleared. Oh, look, a little scooter. No one wants to get their bum a little wet on the scooter. I'm going to go ahead and swoop that off for them so their bum can stay warm.
boy.
That's weird. All right, let's take a look at the whirly ball cam. Getting around the area is quite messy. From the Skyway, if you're going to drive into the city tonight to meet Brandon at the clubs later on, the entrance ramp to the inbound Ryan is closed off right now due to the storm. So heavy traffic around the area, as you can imagine. All right, let's take a look at this radar right now. Heavy bands of snow making their way through the area. They're going to continue to do so throughout the overnight hours as we look ahead for the next 6 hours. That's the heaviest. And then tomorrow is lake effect snow. So again, you'll wake up to about 4 inches of snow. That'll be universal across the board. And then if you're east of Interstate 355, especially east of the tri-state, you'll get even more snow tomorrow for a total anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. I don't know. It's half a guess anyways. That's what we're going to go with there. About 3/4 of a ruler. Let's call it that. Tomorrow, again, those snows continue and temperatures will be in the 30s. This thing ain't melting. And a little bit later, I'll tell you about a snow fall that's coming this weekend. But I'm still shoveling, guys. We'll be back.
She's helped spice up the homes of celebs like Usher, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani. Shani Moran is here to help us revamp the walls that we are staring at every single day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
So what is the number one tip you can give for people? Because just to add a little something extra to the rooms that they're in all the time now.
100%. That's what we do at Pillow Pops. We are for the celebration of colors, using colors to create an atmosphere, to capture a mood, simply using decorative items.
What kind of things would you suggest that people add? Is it just a throw pillow, is it a blanket, or is it like more decorative items that really kind of set the mood?
I think the first thing is really to kind of step back and take a look at your space, and then kind of think which colors you most connect with and try and incorporate those into your decor. Of course, it has to work with harmony with everything that exists right there and then. You can always change things around, but I think the main idea is the understanding that you can dress your home just like you dress yourself. You can exchange colors all the time depending on your mood.
That's good to think of. I always struggle with like artwork and things for my walls because I feel like I don't change them very often. And so then I'm afraid to buy something or put something up that I might not like down the road.
That's a very good question. So usually art will incorporate a few colors, and I think you can always take from them and kind of incorporate them in smaller decorative items that you can exchange easily. You can swap and redress your pillow covers, for example. That's what we do. And you can kind of pick on colors that are your favorites from the art and put them on the sofas, maybe by a vase that's also matching everything else.
So we sent you some pictures. We want to get a little bit of your expertise advice on a couple of rooms in our homes. The first one is a room in my house, and I have a very unique situation because I have little kids still. And so we took our dining room and we turned it into a toy room / playroom. And so the picture that I sent you is actually a formal living room that has some extra spillover of toys. And I don't know what to do with the room because we also have a family room that we spend more time in.
Looking at it, I absolutely would suggest incorporating a big mirror. I think that if you hang a big mirror on the room, it will just open up the space immediately and just creates continuity. I see your art on the wall over there. And of course, it will reflect on the mirror. It will give you a breathing space. I know that it's still kids, so maybe, you can get rid of the rug if you wanted to, but you can add maybe an armchair or big pillows all around the room and make it a fun space for yourself.
So John sent in a picture of a bathroom. I think it's actually his guest bathroom, and it just looks sad.
Wow, I'm looking at it. Yes. Well, first thing that I can think of is maybe bringing some colors. So what can we do? What kind of colors can we bring into the space? So I think that maybe colorful towels, maybe a plant, a candle, anything that would just zhuzh it up a little bit and, bring some dynamic into it.
Do you prefer like a solid, or like if there's a shower curtain, do you usually do something solid and then use the color in other spaces?
Yes.
Or, okay, that
So
always seems like a smarter idea.
That's a very good point you're making. I would personally keep to a very neutral curtain, shower curtain, and bring colors everywhere else because you don't want to draw attention to that part. This is why it's so important to bring in our own energy into the house and invest our resources. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's just really our thinking, our thought into our spaces.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it. For more tips and fresh takes on how to redecorate your space, you can visit Shani's website at pillowpops.com.
Well, filming TV shows during a pandemic looks a little different now. Lamon Archey from the CW's All-American described what the protocols on set are now like.
Right now, they're just on All American. It's just the face shield. You have to wear that the whole entire time unless you are on stage shooting. If you're not shooting, you got the face shield on. You go to lunch to eat, you got the face shield on. So it's completely different. And also, before you can even walk on the set, you have to have a negative COVID result. So it's, they're taking it very seriously, which is great because, no one wants to go out there, go to work and catch COVID. So I'm glad that they're doing that. The masks are different than the ones that you see that are attached to your head. This one is actually attached to your neck and it goes up like this. It's weird. It's weird.
Weird indeed, but it pays off. You can watch a new episode of All American tonight at 7 p.m. on CW26. Now to our All American, John Hanson. He's the star QB of our weather team. You like that analogy there, John?
No, not only was that a bad analogy, but also a really terrible segue. But that's not why they pay you the middle bucks there, Brandon. Do you like snow, Brandon? Are you a snow guy?
I love snow. I'm all about the snow, John. Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's 'cause
just
you
thought
don't
of something.
drive.
Jon Snow.
Well, yeah.
Jon Snow. Yeah, get it?
And winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. See,
You're not a Game of Thrones guy though either. So why'd you even bring that up?
I'm not. I'm just trying to be cool and hip like the kids. You know,
Yeah,
that's what
well,
everybody's into.
We've always look, whether I'm inside or outside, the one thing that is consistent with our message to you, Brandon, is to stop trying to be cool. Weather report. Let's take a look downtown at the Royal Sonesta Riverfront Cam. This is going to be a doozy. Nothing too bad. I mean, it's Chicago, people. It's 6 to 8 inches of snow. Let's not freak out over it, but it is the heaviest snowfall we've had in the last couple years. I wanted to give you a sneak peek at the 7-day forecast because usually it's like, oh, maybe it'll warm up and melt. Nah, we're going to keep in the 30s pretty much all week long. And just, I know it's Monday. I don't want to worry you, but as we look towards Saturday, it could be another big one Saturday night into Sunday. It's still a few days away. We'll have to track that as we get a little bit closer. But yeah, you're going to wake up to about 5 inches of snow, get a couple more tomorrow. All right, am I tossing a break? I'm going to pretend that I am right now. More of the jam coming up into this. Oh yeah, the music playing. I got it. Nailed it.
Hey guys, getting a can of soup like this may seem like a simple thing for most people, but not for every family in Chicago. CW26, The U, MeTV FM, and Beam Legal are partnering with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and together we are all trying to change that. The goal is to donate $15,000 in meals. All you have to do is text CW26 to 41444 or go to cw26chicago.com to donate. We're accepting donations now until Friday, February 19th. You can be a part of helping end hunger. Let's feed Chicago.
Let's do it. And then let's get into some trending stories. Woo, guys, it was a day. Harry Potter fans have been on an emotional roller coaster, okay? It all started off when The Hollywood Reporter released this headline. Harry Potter live-action TV series in early development at HBO Max, right? Piquing interest.
Right.
But then, wait, read the article. There are no Harry Potter series in development at the studio. Okay, so apparently, sources said executives had meetings with writers to bring the franchise to television. So basically, they are just talking about it. Some people talked about it. And then they led
You
with
can't do that.
headline.
Listen, I'm sorry, but no, I am a Harry Potter fan almost as much as a Star Wars fan. You cannot do that to us. We are crazy. We need solid info.
Yeah, I'm with you
there.
Yeah, it probably was like someone made a passing comment like, "Hey, maybe we should do a Harry Potter TV show." And the THR reporter was like, "Ooh,
They're
okay."
not going to print with that that little information. Most people need 2 sources confirmed.
Early development. That
It
was
was
the
too
key
much.
part of the headline.
It was too much for us. Okay, and this next one was too much for Twitter too. Okay, fun fact: Ryan Reynolds was on Sesame Street. The more you know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let me warn you: this tweet
Recently?
is not Sesame Street friendly, and it's a now viral reply to a fan. He writes, "I remember how challenging it was to sing because the A-hole was so tight. He was an A. He was the letter A, and his head is in the hole."
I saw that episode actually. There has been, I mean, everybody you love has been on Sesame Street. So when y'all become parents, you're going to sit back and you're going to watch it and be like, damn, this is a good show. And I didn't even realize it.
You know what's, you guys,
So
you know what's
funny.
even harder than the, you know what's even harder than the A-hole?
Oh,
I don't want to know.
2 B-holes. 2 B-holes. I mean, that's tough to deal with too.
All right. All right, John.
Shall I get into the next
What?
last
It
story?
was just a joke. I was going on to the previous story.
Next.
Shall I lift this up with this last one? It's a good one, and it's inspiring. Okay, so after 17-year-old JoJo Siwa, she's taking over the Gen Z. She posted this Lady Gaga Born This Way TikTok, and everyone kind of was like, okay, JoJo Siwa, what are we doing here? Alluding to something. But she confirmed on Instagram Live that she indeed was coming out. She is feeling all the love, and she's so proud to be who she is. Take a listen to this.
It's okay to not be normal. It's okay to be a little different. It's okay to be a little weird. It's okay to be a little strange. It's okay to be different. And I think a lot of people are afraid of being different. And that's something that we should never, ever, ever be afraid of. It's something that we should be proud of and that we should celebrate because we all get to be so different. And it's so cool and so awesome.
You love to hear
I'm
it.
happy for her.
Yes, JoJo.
I know. Here's what I get. Okay, so let me mom this for a second, okay, right? Because I'm like, I know
Oh,
she's
God.
like this social media star. She is, but I just felt bad for her to a degree that she had to play this out on social media and she could just do this within her friend and family. And maybe this was great for her and cathartic and that's wonderful, but I was like, I feel like this is just something, I don't know, as a kid that you go through and you do it
Yeah.
yourself. And then this poor kid's got to put it out there for everybody in the world because that's what she
Yeah.
does. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, look, first of all, I'm going to figure out who she is. But after I do that, I will be very proud of her for doing this. This is great stuff, to be sure. No, I mean, it's
John?
very similar to the way I came out. I got drunk one night, changed my Facebook status to interested in men, and the whole world knew. So me and JoJo, we get it. I get it. It's all the same.
So
see,
wait,
I'm so
John,
glad
you
I
never
did not
watched
grow up on social media.
John never watched Dance Moms? Like, come on.
What? Dance? Oh, like the moms that dance? What is dance?
It's called
Yeah,
Dance Moms.
the
JoJo's
hit
from
reality show, Dance Moms. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was one of the kids.
Even I knew that, John.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Cool. She wasn't
Great
even
show.
a mom, and who cares?
She's only 17, so no, she was
Okay,
not a
well.
mom when she was on like
Well, I
10
don't
years
know
ago.
what I'm talking about.
John only cares about the moms. So-
She's a big one, John. She's a big star. We'll send you an
Oh,
article.
let's take a break, please.
Send me a link.
Where'd he go? John fell down. He's supposed to do final weather, and we lost John Hansen.
Injured on the play.
Injured on the play.
There he is. He's back.
He's back.
There he is.
Oh.
Does he know he's on TV?
I don't know if he knows. I don't think he does.
I'm on camera, guys. Sorry. I ran upstairs to get some dibs shirt, and I'm out of breath. Yes, a lot of snow today. Thank you, Jamie, my cameraman. Here we go. I dug out this spot. Here we go. 5 inches of snowfall over the next few hours. Jamie, you mind?
It's like he's never done
down
this
and plugging
before.
me in, buddy. All right, I'm going to toss it back to you guys because I can't hear you right now.
I swear it's like he's never done this before. It's television. You done it. You know what's about to happen. And yet, wah, 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 wah. All right, guys, let's go. Coming across Chicagoland. This is going to last through the morning hours. It'll be pretty heavy. It's going to be a sloppy commute, so make sure you check in the morning. We could get up to 9 inches in some areas. Be careful out there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night, okay?
All right. We'll see you later.